All right. 3, 2, 1. Here with my lovely ladies.
Back at it again. Sounding like our pimp.
Just call me Andy Cohen. No, I'm just kidding. I was trying to bring up how Andy's a pimp, but then I'm like, keep mine. Okay. We are here for another week of Real Housewives of Potomac season 8. We're on episode 15, Fool's Gold. So, Kristen, would you like to start us off with a toast?
Gladly. I'll take that invitation, the title of the episode, to cheers to all the Uber Eats that Michael's gold can buy Ashley's broke ass. Cheers. Oh, but also cheers to Chris Bassett's birthday, which was
Yay!
Yes.
I love a Pisces man, I think.
I don't know.
No, that part is the dangerous part.
Is it really? You are now watching Mind You Media.
Mind You!
We can't use that. We don't have the rights. You are now streaming Mind You Media.
Oh, man. I had a long crush on a Pisces man once. I don't know what
How'd that go?
Like in real life.
It wasn't real life.
Yeah, that's why I wonder.
Okay. Thank you for that double toast. Now let's see if Ellen can rise to the occasion of the recap. You know, I want to see my friend succeed.
Thank you.
Let's
not sabotaging them.
All right.
Yeah, and be gentle when you break in and tell me time's up, okay? I have feelings, you know.
Okay, well, I'll try. I will count you down. 3, 2, 1.
The episode begins with a continuation of Beach Cabana confrontation. Wendy and Candace go, "What were y'all talking about?" Eventually, Robin discloses, and both Robin and Gizelle pretty much back down. It looks like Kiarna and Karen are offering support, but of course, Ashley with the battery in her back is like, "Yeah, Candace, wipe your taco." Moving on, later in the evening, Robin's plans for the night are to do over Ashley's earlier failed birthday celebration, Havana Nights. The women come dressed in a variety of fare that has nothing to do with Havana Nights, except for Wendy. They raise the question of Candace and Robin's ongoing conflict. Next morning, the women are doing their various catch up with family members back in the States. And then Karen pulls Gizelle aside and confronts her about not standing up for her at the dinner table when those women were making faces while she talks about her daughter. Of course, Karen shuts it down hilariously and aptly. After that, the women go
to say that you're not anywhere close. But continue.
You did do gentle. That was actually
yeah, I know. I almost didn't know the time was up. Okay, I'll go on. After that morning, the women go on an excursion to a 16th century castle, the very one that Bartolome de las Casas wrote his little treatise for the indigenous Americans and insisted that instead African captives be brought to the New World and enslaved in perpetuity.
And of
I'm
course,
making that up, but it's very possible.
And they're taking up his charge. No.
Just like it's possible that Michael Jackson and Lisa Marie Presley got married.
Yeah, why is that in doubt? Like, can that be verified or not?
A rumor has it. Like, we didn't care.
Yeah,
So they're lunching at the castle, and the question of Karen's latest trainer for hire is raised, and Karen finally tells us this time it's Vernon Davis. She shows a picture of Vernon looking fine, and Ashley goes, "Yeah, I know Vernon," because Giselle's like, "Oh, maybe you two should get together." Ashley then quickly flees to the bathroom when pressed on this, and then Karen is like, "She's trying to take my man." Like, Karen is very much unhappy. I don't know if y'all clocked that.
That's her eye candy.
Exactly. Ashley, and she like can't even share, even if it's like a hypothetical relationship, but
Ashley's
whatever.
trying to intrude on her wet dream.
That's what it is. She's
And
gonna
you
now
know
start
she
seeing
propagates them
Ashley.
quickly, lots of ways.
So Ashley returns from the bathroom with her story prepared, and the story pretty much sounds like Vernon wanted me, but I was like, really? You tripping? Like, it was gross, and we all know it's not true. Okay. So then I think they decide to move on without raising any other major issues. They disperse into two separate groups. Some of the women end up at tennis instruction, others of the women end up at ski shooting. At tennis instruction, the conversation ranges from Mia's debut of her feet in the strip club and Ashley's divorce. Everybody kind of opines on why it is she's still not divorced. Meanwhile, at skeet shooting, Kiarna is asked by the GEBs, has Wendy been talking about us? She's like, oh no, but I do know. She doesn't name any issues with you, but I know of her issue with Nneka. Nneka goes, excuse me, attacks her. It's bloody. Kiarna shuts it down. We'll get into details later. Then the women convene after these little excursions for their final night of dinner at a local restaurant. There, Wendy raises that earlier Mia was calling Ashley a gold digger and insisting that that's the reason, although I don't understand the logic fully, but that's the reason why she's not yet divorced. Ashley claps back, are you a gold digger? Did you marry Gordon for his money? Mia says, might have. Okay. Therefore, totally disarming Ashley's one defense. In the confessionals, Ashley tells us that what Michael ends up paying for is some gas money, an emergency credit card, and Uber Eats. That's his contribution to the raising of his children.
I loved Karen's genuine response to the dinner.
That's all.
Like, that's all? Really?
She said that.
No, she said,
Yeah.
she said, Ash, that's all.
Yes, Ash, that's what it was. It was like a real like girl, like woman, like this is where we are.
That's very sweet. That's really somebody's got to care about Ashley. It ain't us.
Ash, that's all.
Okay, what else do they discuss at dinner? Gizelle insists on a swift pivot from that more interesting conversation to return to the interrogation of Karen and her potential dalliances with Vernon Davis. She denies it and insists, I am only in it to strengthen my inner thighs. The women close the episode with a song about work on your inner thighs. Work on your inner thighs. I'm working on them right now. Working on your inner thighs.
Emotion. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you. That's, one of our better recaps. Some might say. Okay. Let's get in where you started with the beach confrontation. Last episode, I said, okay, we'll save the majority of the convo for next time. Okay, here we are next time. And there's honestly not much to say. Production cut the meat out of this encounter.
As usual.
Yes. So there's really, it's everything you saw in the preview. Wendy and Candace rolled up like, oh, we can actively hear you talking shit about us. Gizelle does her typical stare off into space. Yes, she has sunglasses on, so it adds to that.
No, she doesn't.
I didn't see them.
Her eyes are bare and exposed in her frown. And her somebody compiled all the times when Gizelle does this. It's a constant.
She says, we can talk about it. Let's talk about this later. And it's like, no, bitch, we're talking about it now. Okay. You had a lot to say 30 seconds ago. But who knows what was said?
That's interesting. Thinking about that again, it's like, let's talk about this later. Almost feels like Gizelle saying like, I haven't fully consolidated how I'm going to like use this to be aggrieved yet. So like, no, I'm not ready. Yep. And then Robin steps in to do.
She doesn't stay ready. She needs to always carve out some moments to get ready.
Right.
And then we see
Me
later
too.
she uses it against Karen.
Exactly. It's like Gizelle needs vitamins because her mind is not sharp enough to keep. I mean, that's why she's not witty. She should actually be witty, but she's not, right?
Just all
Like
the tools.
she needs to work on
Ginkgo.
crosswords, Sudoku. She needs lion's mane, something. 'Cause
Yeah.
But I think it's also worth noting that a key thing production cut was a kind of like broader context for Kiarna and Karen's interventions, because we were talking about how it was like, are they chiming up on behalf of Wendy and Candace or the GEBs? It was unclear, but I think we've determined like what they were saying is like everybody is exchanging shady looks at all times. So what's the issue? It doesn't seem like they've done anything like wildly out of the realm of, I don't know, acceptable behavior in the context of these tensions that are already and always present.
Yeah. And Kiarna, her behavior on this trip, as we've discussed, has been, not what we necessarily would have expected. So the fact that they cut the meat of her defending Wendy and Candace after, she's brought in as their friend. And then she seems to be aligning herself with Gizelle at the beginning. And this was a clear realignment that the viewers conveniently miss.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, her allegiances are yet unclear, and the producers would like us to believe that. Some Twitter users are even endorsing that. Like, yes, Kiarna's neutral. We love that. I don't respect neutrality. I don't think that's a thing.
Well, especially in this bunch, okay?
No way.
Yeah. Neutrality is a defense of evil in this case.
Yes.
Before we move on, the last thing I caught of this scene, I don't know if y'all did, is once punk P-word ass Robin and Gizelle decided it's time to pivot and go, okay, well, the activities for the evening will be X, Y, and Z. Then obnoxious Nneka is like, yes, it's giving Cubana and Dominicana. Yeah. Like something very annoying and cringe.
And then go on.
And then
let me actually speak on this. As someone who likes to have my own hype interjections, it is very painful for me to hear Nneka's, because I'm also like,
do I look like that?
This is what a recording would be. I feel like, she also has nothing to add, and she's clinging to these moments where she can be like the Lil Jon of the group.
I would insist yours aren't like that, because yours draw from the like rhetoric that circulates, and hers are motivated by ingratiating herself to, Ashley, Gizelle, Robin. And that's what she was doing in this case. Like, yes, Ashley's birthday. And you know how Ashley responded? She said, yeah, yep. Like, I swear to God, she was leaning back like, please don't talk to me. Go back and watch it, y'all. She did that.
No,
I isn't it a funny response from Ashley, who was Nneka's inaugural friend? That's your friend.
That joke has long since been put out the pasture.
Come on.
The tides officially turned with Ashley and Nneka after Nneka's response to the Healing and Thriving song. Now Ashley's like, I do not even feel bad.
Yeah.
It's a no for me.
She said, I'm noticing you're an ass kisser, and that's all you're doing here. Yeah, it's repulsive, to be honest. It is. I'm not
when an opportunist looks down on you, you're pretty low.
Ooh, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So back to the opportunist. The opportunist, Ashley, missed her birthday party because it was smoky in Maryland. Wildfires. So they
the climate crisis.
Yes.
To the climate crisis.
So to the end of days. I will cheer to that.
I'm happy.
There you go. Let it burn.
Yes. Ashley, they restage her birthday party here in in East Haiti, and it is Havana Nights themed. Ashley comes out in the worst outfit. We don't even need to get into it really, I think, because it's like it shouldn't be given any award, It's it's just
I do want to reiterate something we discussed earlier off camera, which is that Ashley's shape, which we have discussed in previous episodes, is a function of her internalized anti-Blackness. Look for it. You'll find it.
Mhm.
You'll find it.
Her shape and the fact that she hones it and she flaunts it. It's like it's an affront to Black people everywhere. It's like, bro, why are you cultivating a top heavy reverse triangle, upside down triangle?
Top heavy reverse.
You like why do you think shoulders, inflatable breast, and a broad chest is like the desirable thing and the most underdeveloped narrow? If Karen is cultivating her inner thighs, is like trying to shape her inner thighs, Ashley wants her outer thighs, her hips, her whole body to just sink into point.
To taper, as it were.
To taper. Have you ever heard of that? In this economy where BBLs proliferate, why you want a tapered booty? Like, what is that? What? Why? It's not cute. It's not giving.
Michael once liked it. That's why.
Yeah.
And she won't she won't cut that cord.
Actually, who knows? Because Michael was grabbing the butts of Black men.
I was about to say.
Yes,
That is true. Ooh.
Michael once deemed it acceptable.
Maybe.
At various, but yeah, besides that outfit, what else happens at this little birthday dinner?
We all vomit at Ashley's outfit. Candace aptly terms it that Ashley is giving $2 hoe 99% of the time. Yes, yes, yes. Wearing plastic and colors. Is that what it was? But the important thing, the last thing I'll say about Ashley's birthday before we get to the meat of what happens here is just that production is at pains to make Ashley's birthday this sentimental occasion where we reflect on her eight birthdays she spent with these women on the show. There's the fond, soft music of reflection. We see her, grow into adult womanhood and cut to the times where she had her babies with these women on the show. It's like, why are y'all doing all this when Karen's birthday was in Austin a few episodes ago? Y'all had this 60-year-old queen sitting on a dirty dock. Now, what's that about?
60-year-old queen.
Like, why?
And the reason for this is because this is Ashley's farewell tour.
It is.
Ooh,
it's her, and she spent half of her life on the show.
Yeah. Not that at the time of filming, even at the time of filming the confessionals, because that's where the reflection happens, of course, that production knew that. But I imagine in the last week they made that decision, went ahead, cut a couple clips to make up a montage. Because if you look, them clips is not the past 8 years. They didn't even go through the archives robustly enough. That's last season and the first season. That's it. That's how many birthdays Ashley actually got photoed. And then threw on some, it's so hard to say goodbye. I think that goodbye package was constructed minutes before the show aired. I think they decided it at the close of filming the reunion this past week.
And why would that be? Because if we are fucking with what Carlos King said about Ashley being the Megan for the producers, like running the bone that they put in her back to mix metaphors, and we know Ashley can't afford to be turning down no jobs given her financial situation. Why is she?
And let me
also
also
she's not leaving, that they're kicking her out, but like, why?
And to add to my why, because I have the same question, it's like, I know that the tides are turning on the Ashley discourse, but I still feel like there is a large contingent of, the gay viewers and the white viewers and the gay white viewers who love Ashley. So,
yeah. I would agree. I don't know. We should try to cook up some sense, but it might be she's not the only one going, and when we see the other names, it will make more sense. Or it might be B, that like what they heeded of various things people were saying, the various criticisms the viewers were offering, is that Ashley actually, because it's now being replayed, that she once said to Candace, "You're the least accomplished of the cast members. This woman has not a pot to fucking piss in." Okay.
I just said, "Ka, ka, 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 ka."
There's a bird locally. Is that a dodo bird?
That would be me. That would be me. Yeah, that's me. It's I. It is I. Yeah, I mean, maybe one clue is the fact that we see later in the episode, Michael refuses to be filmed on camera. And, we also saw Ashley like this week submit a little Instagram video talking about, I had a hard time during this season. I wasn't able to like share everything that's going on in my personal life. So maybe the production is also like, girl, if you're divorced from your estranged husband, as it were, like is not going to be able to be discussed, if he won't even be on camera to like be a part of your storyline, maybe you're not giving us enough to make it worth our while to keep you.
Or maybe, yeah. And maybe letting Ashley go was their compromise because they ain't letting Gizelle or Robin go.
Yeah.
I'd keep Ashley in a heartbeat to get Gizelle's ass off this show. In a heartbeat.
I mean,
Why
yeah,
is
because
Robin so safe?
at least Ashley is more responsive to, like, she's not just a corpse moving through, plotting through the scene.
Yeah.
It's weird. I mean, I
She
do
knows
hate
the
Ashley.
plot.
I honestly hate Ashley more than I hate Gizelle. I'm not gonna lie, but I would more likely watch her. Giselle's getting boring.
Yeah. Gizelle is, yes. She went from I would watch her to then I felt a lot of pain watching her to now it's like we've seen all the tricks. She's just, one note.
Yeah. She's boring and she's motivated by like pure sinister energy. And like in seasons past, I think I would have retained Gizelle more quickly. But this version of Gizelle, if it's gonna keep intensifying, then get her.
Yeah. It's even just been one season of this kind of Gizelle, and that's too much. It's too unbearable. Ashley has been shitty, disgusting, unscrupulous, anti-Black her whole time on here. Whole time. Actually, her first season, she was okay. She was still all those things, but she was okay to watch, right? She hadn't gotten comfortable enough to really let those out. And I would still rather watch her, at least Candace, tear that ass up for another,
What's damning for Gizelle is it's not that she's boring. That's not a you have to go. Robin too, as everybody agrees, she's boring. But Gizelle ensures that everybody else is boring too. She demands that everybody be boring. And so it's like, okay, this cannot sustain.
Yeah, well, let's see what happens. Let's see what we actually get in terms of the reshuffling.
Yes. So as Ashley is sitting there in the getup, we hear Karen move the plot forward with her question. She's like, okay, what is good with the situation that occurred at the beach? It seemed unresolved. Is Karen the one that asks Candace and Robin, like, is there any hope for this friendship?
Before you hop into the analysis there, Ellen, she says to open the question up, she said, so, well, Candace, Robin, like, how are you two? Like, where do you all stand? Because earlier today when we were at the beachside cabana, things got, what did she say? Things ended a little rough. So how are you two? So that makes me, we were just discussing how much over manipulation production is doing with these cuts, but it's like what we saw was a manufactured, pleasant little ending whereby Robin goes, well, okay, let's, here's what's on the agenda next coming up, dinner, and then we're going to go here. And so it's like, what ended rough? Why did y'all cut that? What did we get to see?
Yeah, in real life, it's like.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we will never know. Frankly, we will never know. Unless we, do a Freedom of Information Act for the footage.
The thing is, I guess the point is just like production really be playing our faces because it's like, do you think we just don't pay attention? Do you think like why even leave that if you're gonna be at business, make your business cutting up every which way every conversation? Don't leave it in there, Karen saying, we left things a little like y'all just think people aren't
do need her work, right? Yeah. No, but they're. Oops, my alarm went off. But they are producing people's lesser attentiveness to the dynamics. That
Mhm.
like doing this effectively does make people catch things less, because I see people repeat things that I'm like, the producers just told you that, but
Mhm.
there's a whole other way to find out that that didn't happen. Like if you're actually like following the show and the dynamics, you know that's not true. But here they go producing the narration that, and I see people reproducing it. So it's effective. It's very effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well.
but the question du jour is, what really is the core of the conflict between Candace and Robin? Okay, because some people are like, oh, Candace. Very few people. Some people without sense on Twitter who are trying it with me. They're saying Candace is trying to hold Robin accountable for something she doesn't even know if it happened, because in the course of that discussion, I think Mia or Ashley says, Candace, today, right now, at this moment, do you believe the things you said about Robin online? Candace's problem is that her memory is short sometimes, right? Because she'll be assenting to some things she didn't even do, right? Because it's like the things she said about Robin on Twitter are just nothing directly. She didn't use her name, not even once, but she did tweet a thread that said, the least authentic of us will bury the lead, will knowingly bury the lead, and then, elaborates on hiding the story behind a paywall. Again, never referencing Robin. So it ain't defamation and it ain't slander, Robin. Okay, stop getting your legal advice from Nneka, as either Katherine or Kristen named earlier. So the Michael Darby School of Law. That's actually what it is.
Yes.
I'm just throwing lawsuits around that will go nowhere. But she didn't name Robin. She just said she just called her out for hiding the story, which is something we all did. We
Yeah.
all feel like, how dare you?
Including her employer. Andy had her on the next Watch What Happens Live to be like, account for yourself, ma'am.
Yeah. So that's not a unique perspective. We all share that. Where was the truth? What else did Candace say? Did Candace ever memorialize? Okay. Did she ever produce a written account that said Robin was running around with Gizelle, making up a story about my husband in order to? She didn't say that. She never said that in print.
Right.
What else she said about Robin was, when asked one word to describe Robin, she called her a fraud. And I think that's pretty much it. There may be one other thing I'm missing.
A subtweet or something, but nothing ever explicit.
Okay, right. So again, when Robin invokes, I was going through it. She never even wrote to me to check in on her friend. That's a
Lies. That's
glaring lie, a bold-faced lie. Because we know if Candace tweeted this angry thread in January, in November, she texts Robin like, hey, what's going on? Robin doesn't answer. Are you mad at me? Robin doesn't answer. So she's not speaking to her her close friend for an extended period of time, before at which point Candace then tweets the thread.
And Candace also says in those texts, like, regardless of our stuff, I am sorry that you're going through
does
this.
say that. That's And Robin straight lies. When she said, like, you didn't even check in, girl, Candace had no, like, she didn't have to check in on you. She was the one who suffered the whole season of her husband being maligned, and because she could empathize, still reached out to you.
Yep.
Like, what?
It's like she didn't have to check in on you because you made clear where you stood with her. That's why, right? Like, as your friend, she should have checked in with you. But once you started ghosting her, she didn't have to check in with you, right? Okay, so now let me ask y'all this. You're on a show called The Housewives with your coworker/friends. In the past, this is the necessary context for the question I will ask. In the past, you have watched some of these women gather and determine in advance of filming what the topics of the season were going to be. And you've watched them put forward a plot to literally defame, and at least attempt to destroy the family of one such coworker who was not present at this dinner. That happened, everyone. It happened that Monique was not present one day when the other women were gathered, and Gizelle And whoever else decided to participate, you can better believe it was Ashley. And Robin maybe quietly chimed in, or maybe she actively endorsed it. But Gizelle was leading the charge at a plot that was going to accuse Monique of having her youngest child by someone who was not her husband, and accuse her of having an affair with her trainer. Okay, in the interest of getting her kicked off. Just so happens, soon enough, Monique decides to, after kissing Gizelle's ass, physically attack her close friend on the show, and then therefore get her ass kicked off on her own. But not without Gizelle's insistent say so, right?
So blind as she was to the actual operations of power that she was chasing the asses
She
of
knew that they had been plotting against them before that, though. Before she beat up Candace, she knew that they were plotting against her.
And was trying to ingratiate herself to them still.
Nonetheless. Interesting. So let me ask you, friends, would you, if you suspected, you're Candace, you suspect Robin was in on this very likely hatched plot by Gizelle to concoct a story about, because it comes from Ashley. It comes from Ashley's little Sesame Street friend. It comes from Mia. And then it comes from Gizelle. If you're Candace, do you suspect Robin is in on it? And further, if you can't prove Robin is in on it, but you suspect she's in on it, what does that mean will happen with your friendship going forward?
You can't trust her.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what? Okay. What was the first question? Do you suspect she's in on it? Yes. By virtue of the historic relationship that Robin and Gizelle have with each other, the viewers for 8 seasons have called her variously Gizelle's lapdog, Gizelle's sidekick, Gizelle's battery in her back, whatever. She's been narrated, fairly or not, like at different moments there, we can at least say Robin has acted or behaved in ways where she has enabled Gizelle's bad behavior. People have picked up on that. So it's probably fair to expect that, like, I know your relationship with Gizelle is that Gizelle can sometimes be up to fuck shit and you don't call her on it forcefully. So if Gizelle was the, head bitch in charge in the plot, and, I know historically that you don't always call her out, even if you tell me and Chris when we sit down that you don't think he was, it was that serious, or that you told Gizelle on camera, like, girl, that really didn't happen that way. You didn't go hard to like make her back down, or you didn't go hard against the logic or reasoning that she came up with. And after a certain point, you just went along with it. If you stopped resisting her narration of Chris's bad behavior, then you just started to acquiesce to it. And so passively or not, you don't have to have actively said, I think Chris was inappropriate. You stopped kind of contesting Gizelle's account, and that means you enabled that discourse.
And even added your own spice to legitimate it.
If I were Candace, I would definitely, out of all people, not trust Robin. Even if I felt like, oh, we're having our BFF moment, I would think she cannot be trusted ever. As close as we get, I can't actually trust her.
And if you recall, in Austin, that was the substance of Candace's crying when Robin was crying on the curb. She was just like, I can't trust somebody whose judgment is to rock with that one over there, like who has the poor judgment to continue to rock with that person.
And the reason that I originally paused when Ellen asked the question is because I was thinking about this interview I saw with Candace and this news reporter. And she was saying how every single season she's been on, she's been convinced she's gonna be let go. And it's like, no wonder. She has seen them plot. She has witnessed all of it. Of course she's next. Of course she sees that. The whole, okay, it's about to turn on me. It's about to turn. It's about to turn. And it has turned.
Yep. You know what? Good point, Katherine, because there are 1,000,000,001 dynamics we are actually not privy to because we don't work in that. But we can begin to imagine them, including she's probably suspected she's going to be let go because she can see her boss doesn't like her. And she can see her boss clearly favors the one person who is consistently leading the plots.
Yes. Yes. The reporter was like totally surprised. This is a white man. And she was like, no, like I'm surprised when I get the contract.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well,
You know what's interesting too? That made me think back to the Pilates studio or whatever when Gizelle first came to Candace talking about she was uncomfortable at the reunion. And you know, we saw Candace get up and be like, "That's enough. Where's Eric? Somebody find Eric for me." You know, she goes straight to production feels like it's like a y'all took it too far. Y'all have let this woman go too far with this unchecked power. I told you, I've been seeing her plotting. She brings shit out of her ass, and then y'all corroborate it to make it into the reality of what we have to contend with on the show. Get Eric. We can't, this can't go on camera. You know, like that makes me feel like it's a.
And imagine being taken by surprise. Imagine being like, what? Like somebody is telling you that live while the filming is happening, and then you go, oh my God. Then it feels like everyone around has set you up.
Yes,
Yeah.
literally. I'm so glad that you brought up that specific moment, because when Ellen was like, imagine, and this is happening to Monique, and blah, 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 I was like, I was thinking in my mind, like, what the fuck is Candace doing? Why hasn't she broken the fourth wall? And then, oh yeah,
Yep.
she did.
Enough. This is okay. No, I will not abide it. I will not abide this created reality of this show. This is now invention, and you're abetting her making up shit.
Okay. Let's go to the next morning. Okay, we got our little typical Real Housewives montages.
Ashley's still doing her upper body.
Ashley's doing her upper body. Nneka is on the phone with Ike, and she's like, I mean, he says he's gonna move back, so we'll see. Like she's dating a man who she met a month ago, and she's just not sure how the relationship will pan out.
Yes, which is just, it's particularly okay. We can say they have an arranged marriage. That's why they don't really know each other. They're not close. She doesn't really have. They're strangers, but it's very surprising because she's allegedly trying to have children. So you're trying to have kids, but it doesn't matter if y'all are physically together.
Well, she says so that he can be a part of this pregnancy journey as well. Yeah, he's actually essential for it.
How to get pregnant? Like what? And that makes sense. She's been trying for 7 months. This is how you've been trying. Yes.
I mean, he said, when they're on the phone, he says like, "Oh, you come back tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, I'll be there too." And she's like, "Oh, really? You're not traveling?" It's like,
yeah,
y'all don't know what
that is crazy to me. That is crazy to me. They're like not even roommates. I mean, because they don't share a space, but they don't communicate. It's like you're not talking to him every day. What the hell?
And this is why the gynecologist was looking at them crazy. Anyways.
Leave that man out of this. Leave him out of it. Okay, I also want to know, if you go on Nneka Ihim's Twitter, you find her, it's like, I don't know, it's like AI generates her tweets, but there's an occasional photo of her and Ike at an event, and the captions are always something that is just like, like the person you went to high school with who is on Facebook trying to make everyone believe that they have a life. It's like, me and babe, every day is Valentine's Day with us, because the post was on February 17th. And it was like,
no.
Shut it up. Girl, shut it up. You on TV. We see that is not true.
No, please. We got to link that. We got to link her Twitter. Oh my gosh. Yikes. Okay. Let's talk about Karen and Gizelle. They're having the production's doing their montage. It lands on Gizelle getting Karen alone. Okay, that is Gizelle's key strategy.
It sounds uncomfortable, Katherine.
It sounds like something Chris Bassett would do. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh my God.
That's a mess.
Too soon. Okay, it's his birthday. Damn.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Chris. HPD. So she gets Karen alone, and she, with her 8 energy and her, intense eye contact, tries to call out Karen. She says, Karen, implied, I'm such an amazing friend. and I know what friendship is, and you were wondering why I didn't go on that trip to Surrey, you know? And obviously I would love to go to your hometown because I support you in all things, but I couldn't because Wendy and Candace were invited, and you act differently when you are with Wendy and Candace. So you are fake, I'm authentic, you know? And
what about our daughters? If anybody was, she somehow linked these with the magic of, she just went,
Yeah.
she said, if they were trying to disparage Raven, I would stop them, and you didn't.
Yes, you have no integrity.
You see
Karen,
how she's spinning? Like, first of all, it's like, Gizelle, you bring the accusations of Eddie cheating to the group, and then Wendy gets in that ass, and from that point on, somehow she's done something to you. Okay, you invent a fucking sexual transgression from Candace's husband and bring that to her, saying that he did something to you. She calls you on your bullshit because you can't back it up, and even your best friend can't back it up. So now Candace did something to you. Now these two people who you treat as though they have victimized you somehow become people that Karen is like acting weird or different around. Like, I just feel like, you know, her strategies are just all over the place. It's like, so now because they went to Surrey, you can't come, not because you did something to alienate them, but because now Karen acts differently around, you know, like I'm just trying to do the math, and it's not really.
And the thing is, exactly, the gaps in the logic, always she doesn't need logic, because she continues to count on a following of people who, like her, are what we would call color struck. Okay, like, all she needs is the logic of anti-Blackness. And I want to actually ask us, like, I'm tired of colorism as a concept because it is very distracting. It makes you forget what the thing is actually about. And it begets this circumstance where it's just Black people pointing at each other. It's like, don't forget we inherited this from the slave masters. Okay, like, this is none other than a species of anti-Blackness. Like, Gizelle is allowed to be wildly inconsistent, to say all manner of absurd things in the face of her own aggression and antagonism, and people are like,
but look, her eyes
the
agree.
Blacks did it. Like, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And speak about weaponizing a daughter, you know, Wendy invoked that earlier. That wasn't Gizelle weaponizing her daughter earlier. That was just Gizelle straight up lying on Wendy, as she is also wants to do. Now, this is precisely weaponizing her daughter by saying, what about my baby? You don't care about my child? It's our children, Karen. And Karen said, you know what? I'm actually sick and tired of this.
Yes,
Like,
it was
with her
so
whole chest.
cathartic to hear Karen's response.
Enough.
Yeah.
It's I'm not doing this with you.
Yes, speak for yourself. She goes, you're trying to say I changed? You, when you get around these bitches, you all of a sudden you're quiet.
Yes,
exactly.
And then you're quiet.
You wanted me to stand up for your daughter, but you didn't stand up for your daughter. Why not?
She said, I'm not the problem, Gizelle. You don't like my friends. Call it out. It's not me. I don't have no responsibility to do anything or be anybody around you. And then, of course, Gizelle picks up her favorite. So we not good? We not good, Karen?
It's a threat. It's a threat. And the thing is, a lot of people are saying, like, yeah, Gizelle's shook. That's why she was silent. She was on mute. Like, she want to be a bully, but she don't really have the energy for it. Just, you know, I want to underscore that Gizelle's strategy is to ice them out, to treat them, those people, as she named, like they're invisible. So she's not going to break from that tactic, because then she thinks that makes her look like the victim of their rhetoric, where their rhetoric is always already an aggression and antagonism. Like, if she's just silent, then they're hurling their words at me, right? That's her preferred strategy. And what she does is push, embolden, insist that the others fight the battle on her terms for them. Robin, Mia, Ashley is lit to do it. Nneka is on her hands and knees begging to be next up to do it. And now she's coming at Karen, and she does this continuously. She did it in Austin. Karen, you didn't defend my daughter for me. And, you know, it didn't even occur to me when she says it, because Gizelle's shit is so mystifying sometimes. You're like, where are you going now? Karen said, "You didn't defend your daughter." And I was like, "Oh shit, you're right. You're right. That's your daughter.
Yeah.
You didn't defend your daughter." And for me, she didn't defend her daughter because she wasn't bothered by it.
Wasn't.
When it was happening, she wasn't bothered by the faces. Robin gave her that opportunity, that political opportunity to say, "Oh, here's another place. Here's another place to create the image, to create the sense, the representation of these women as if they are assailing me."
Mhm.
And the reason she wasn't bothered is because we've talked again and again about how production's cutting. These women don't talk to each other, okay, by Gizelle's design. But yet they're constantly together in all of these scenes. It's like there must be faces being made all of the time. All of the time. When they talk, imagine Gizelle's face. Imagine Robin's,
In fact, we see some such faces in the very next scene.
Mm.
Well, let's get into it with the next scene, okay?
Okay, after this little morning of getting ready, they go on their excursion to the 16th century church, which, as we noted earlier, was home to one de las casas.
Okay.
He wrote his little debates against Sepulveda right there in that little chapel. Okay, we're nerds. Specifically, Robin is making the face in the moment where Wendy, I know I'm fast forwarding past like the order of the conversation, but hold on.
No, I said go on.
Okay, when Kiana raises, well, I can sense what the tension is. It's that people aren't speaking. And actually I wanted to think about that because I was like, it's two eights not talking to each other. It's a force field of just tension, like
yes.
It's a hurricane. I can imagine Kiana experiences it. And then Wendy's like, well, what you need to understand is these two, Robin and Candace, were close friends, much like me and Gizelle were friends. As she's saying that, and we know it's crazy to say, it's Wendy, and then the flashbacks are like, that looks like that was your bully, not your friend. That was your bully, my friend.
They were at pains to find a nice interaction, since that's why they were like, here's a moment where Gizelle hands Wendy a towel.
Yeah.
When she asked for a tissue. Like, for me, that's insulting. If I ask you for a tissue and you give me a towel, it's like, I'm wearing makeup. You want me to wipe my face with this towel? Like,
there was a time where they weren't at extreme odds. And that's what Wendy's referring to with her rose-colored glasses. Like, and we used to be friends. No, you guys weren't enemies. Y'all weren't enemies.
Right, but that's not what you should call a friend.
Right.
But even before Wendy invokes the fantasy of her and Gizelle's friendship, as she's talking, Robin is like looking at Gizelle, and Gizelle, recalling what had just transpired, is like, Robin, no. Meanwhile, Robin's like, because Robin wants to be authorized by what she regards as Gizelle's, greater strength to be the bully that she could never really be. So she's just like, come on, Gizelle, come on.
Robin said she loves watching Gizelle meet other women because she loves seeing these strangers get bullied. Mm-hmm. And that is what Gizelle did to Wendy when she joined the cast.
Well, you know what? That feels like it explains so much of Robin's inconsistencies, because she puts it in Gizelle, so she doesn't see herself acting inconsistently when Candace will call it out. It's like, no, it's like the agency in the reason or whatever is with Gizelle, and she's just going along with it.
She just likes to watch. She's her own little stag figure.
Or you called it the reason by which you meant just like the logic, the will, the will, right? The behavior, the self-determination.
The person who inaugurates the thing, the person who has active will or whatever would have to have the reason, and she doesn't see herself the motivation or something.
Yes, because reasonably shady is precisely an admission, I think, of what you're saying, right? Like reasonable. Robin is the reasonable one because she's the one who is generally behaving well and acting in accordance with social mores and conventions. And Gizelle is the nasty one. But of course they must be tied together, right? She wants to be anchored to her, as reasonably shady suggests, because she loves to have that part of herself activated. Because A, it lets her feel powerful, and B, she can also disavow it because Gizelle's doing it.
Exactly. It's like the way, that's the reason why she can say, why don't we all just agree that like going into being a married man going into a hotel room with a woman is a bad idea.
Mhm.
You're didn't I can't even you're one.
That's
You know what I'm
also
saying?
why she can say, I was not part of the plot.
Mhm.
I was not part of the plot. I didn't
Mhm.
inaugurate it. I didn't launch it. I'm just
Mhm.
enabling it.
Mhm.
Right.
Damn. Okay, that's helpful. That's really helpful to understand.
Other
I
stuff
do want a
happened.
total side note, but I do not want to pass it by. I loved when, wait, I pulled it up. When Mia, this was just so, when they're walking around the little 16th century church,
Mhm.
Mia goes, I lost my quote. Jesus, I'm just kidding. I repent.
She says that?
She says that to herself, walking off as, yes, Jesus, I'm just kidding. I
She's
repent.
so afraid of the religion and the spiritual world.
Wow.
She said that? She just said it in passing?
She said, not in passing, she said it like they're all taking pictures, like,
Oh,
and
because
then,
they bring up something about a culo, and she's
yeah.
like, yes, because the man photographing them goes, what are y'all, Dominican? Like, what's going on? Literally. No, he doesn't say that, but I imagine that's what he says. It's like you fit right in here because they're like, "Culo." and then some of them are ashamed. Like Karen's like, this man is respectable. Enough, women.
But yeah,
This
Mia,
is an interesting dynamic about Mia. Like, I want to see more of it.
right. That's, we've talked about it, you know, she's more honest with herself than Ashley. You know, she
In
knows
a
she's
quiet moment.
Yeah.
Gotta listen for it, but it's there.
But go on. What else happens? I interrupted. You were saying
Who, me?
something happens.
Yeah, you.
Oh, I don't remember that. I was just saying the part about just Robin's. What was that in reference to in the? I can't remember.
They're at lunch at the excursion at the church.
I just remember whatever somebody was saying about Robin's moves there made the connection to me about like her putting her actions and motivations into Gizelle.
Mhm.
But this is where they're talking. Oh, okay. Robin and Gizelle, Ashley, Nneka, and Kiarna are at skeet shooting, right?
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
before
well,
they
now,
break off into their different groups, they raise the topic of Karen's trainer, Vernon Davis, at the table.
Mhm.
Karen insists, like, I'm just being trained and it's going to help me with my health. Robin and Gizelle mock her, laugh right in her face,
Mhm.
in the face of her, clogged arteries. And Ashley goes,
Well,
Vernon Davis?
does-
What? Runs to the bathroom.
Karen presents it in a funny, she is like, I want to work on my inner thighs, and he's putting it down,
But was it here or was it at dinner that Karen said, well, I am physically fit for 60 years old?
Yes, she
And
does.
Robin goes,
At dinner.
It's
At dinner is the real attack. Here, it's still light.
Okay.
Dinner is the Robin really takes her. She goes to 100 at dinner.
Okay. Oh, one thing we should note that happens here is Karen brings up the conversation she has with Gizelle
Right.
and says, Gizelle claims that I'm a different person. Now, on Watch What Happens Live last night, Andy raised this topic and was like, so it appears he's raising it to Candace. He prompts her with some question. I don't know, it wasn't important. But he says, and it seems like all the women agreed.
That's not true.
It is not true. But I will say I was very surprised that Mia spoke up so quickly to agree with.
Don't be surprised because if you recall last episode, for instance, Gizelle was stoking the flames with Mia by saying like, well, it seems like Karen just wants to like enslave you to her since she keeps using the fact that she brought you on the show to keep you on her team. But you know what? You're a free person. It's like pot calls the kettle black, Gizelle. You're trying to enslave your little contingent to your will and your purposes. You know what I'm saying?
And also that's when she said Karen is still mad at you for when you called her out about supporting Wendy last.
Right.
So in other words, Gizelle planted the seed, and in the absence of a brain for herself, as Candace said, the rest of the women's brains are in Gizelle's purse. Mia went, that sounds right.
Yeah. And Gizelle did top it off with "That's not a real friend" when she was talking about how Karen acts towards Mia.
Yeah. I didn't actually hear Ashley co-sign it though.
I don't remember her reaction to that.
I'm sure Nneka went, like she tried it. But Robin said, can't speak to that because Karen is constantly bringing negative energy to my door and I don't expect anything else from her.
Yeah, no, Mia was the only person who spoke up in mine.
And
So for Andy to say everyone agreed.
And Karen in kind of like thanked Robin for that. She was like, thank you, Robin. We don't fuck with each other. Like, you know, she was like, thank you for keeping it real. We don't fuck with each other. I'm not different.
I was so grateful for that moment. I was like, thanks, Robin, actually. Like, thank you for being honest, at least. Like, because it's not like you.
It's not like you to tell the truth.
It was not coming off as spiteful. Well, she doesn't. It was like, no, we don't really deal. She's consistent on this point, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think it's because Robin recognizes some aspect of her person, recognizes that Gizelle's moves this way? Like, Gizelle's a plotting ass B-word. Like, and Robin doesn't always want to like affirmatively co-sign her plots, but won't undermine them. So to say like, for Karen to raise like, Gizelle told me I be acting different. Like, I wonder if Robin is just like, that sounds like what Gizelle would say.
I think if it doesn't deal specifically with her, she's inclined to just be honest about it. If it can directly implicate her, then she's not even lying. She's going blind to it. Like, I don't think she's consciously lying. I think she's just not seeing as a defense strategy. And that's not a consciously willed defense strategy. That's just her default strategy. But I think it's like, if she's asked about a thing where she can present herself as a like objective external party, she'll be like, why, yes. You know,
that's what I was going to say. Robin is invested in herself as this reasonable, logical person. Everything that comes to her, she thinks she takes up, you know, objectively. And I think, you know, she's not a Nneka figure. No matter how much she follows Gizelle around, she does not want to think she does.
Yeah.
And she will definitely take a moment like this to assert, I'm my own person with my own experience.
Yeah. And the reason she follows Gizelle around is not, you know, just for fun or like not necessarily chasing power. I don't think it's chasing power. I think it's because she identifies with her. Yes. And by that, I mean, I think she sees Gizelle as her mom, as like her mom.
Yes. Yes. And I think that's why originally you mistyped Robin as a 5, because it's the 8 is the actualized 5, and Robin does look to Gizelle as, you know, all of this stuff that I might think or want to see done upon someone, you are in the cut doing.
Yes. And, you know, constant reminder for our Enneagram special, but I think Robin's mother is a 1 and Gizelle looks close enough to that. You know, the 1 and the 8 have similarities oftentimes, and so it's just like, or Gizelle is like her mom but a foil to her mom, so she identifies like, yes, you could be the one that would help me break from the chains imposed by my mother if I could just bust out and challenge her authority.
Yes, she's familiar but also a rejection of the mother.
She's the means by which I free myself from my
her
mother.
Like wackier, funner days. I could see Gizelle as the like different expression of mom that's less severe and more like, let's have a good time, girl.
Did you notice in the morning when she's on the phone with her mom, which people are like, she know better than to call Juan now that she's on a trip? She said, nope, let's not embarrass her.
She said, no Juan to love as a mode of being now.
Literally, she's not stupid. So she's calling her mom, and her mom is like, how's it go? Very little conflict. You lying. You lying. She just like won't give her those details because probably her mother would be like, oh, that's childish, Robin. Cut it all out.
Well, especially because Robin's the quote unquote host. Like, she wants to tell her mom, I'm being a good host, mom. I'm being a good, I'm doing it right. I'm doing it right.
And then Mia passes. And surprisingly, for somebody whose mom is a 1, she goes, Mia, show your mom the culo. Show my mom your culo. And Mia's kind of like, Mia loses herself for a moment and then goes, this is like my elder. Why am I showing her my ass? And kind of just like covers up and scurries off.
Wait, what have I done?
Ma'am.
But I feel like it's a way of like Robin's identification / disidentification. Like she identifies with the like breaking the conventions thing that Mia is up to, but can't abide it in herself. So, you know, she wants to scandalize her mom, but she can't do it. She's too afraid to do it herself. So it's like, look, Mia's gonna scandalize you,
Ass
mom.
cheeks, mom. Look.
Mhm.
Yo, am I gonna say free Robin? I don't know.
Oh yeah, she definitely needs to be freed. She is deeply repressed.
Or as Fantasia would say, free yourself.
Yes.
You know, she does say that. She does. She does indeed say that.
Great. That was a great single. I really slept on that. I had to grow up to appreciate it. All right. So next, the girls split off to go to their various events. We have tennis on the one hand and then skeet shooting on the other. I did not appreciate that the ladies could not decide what they wanted to do. I know that's a small point, but the women playing tennis were all like, we are overheating. We know they're able to sit in the shade. We're being punished. Like
Karen clocked it. Robin punished them by sending them to tennis.
It's 94 degrees in the Dominican Republic, and y'all have no shade on a tennis court that's like a blacktop, basically. That's really nasty.
They wanted to make Mia look dumb for wearing heels on a tennis court, but it's like I didn't know I would be, you know.
Well, she is silly for not packing a single sneaker.
I also feel like she had to have something because what was she doing at night golf? But anyways,
Wendy wore heels to night golf.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the tennis players, I also want to say I think that Candace is a great vacationer. She leaves night golf saying, I actually had fun. And at tennis, she goes, now I want to play I want to take tennis lessons.
I will say my like one little comment about tennis is I was just like, oh, what a cute little supportive tennis lesson. Cause like Karen was like, good job, Wendy. Good job. Yeah. It was just like so much like y'all really tried it. Good for y'all. Like everybody did a good job.
So when the women say Karen acts different when she's around the others, they mean she's pleased, supportive, happy, and her best self. I think that's what they mean.
No,
Meanwhile, when they said it at the table in the last scene, they said, or one of them was like, yeah, Karen, you get mean when you are around the whole group. And the example of mean they cut to is her saying, Robin, be accountable. You hit your whole life on the season. Like that's mean. That's the production's instance of Karen being mean.
That clip was her saying, Robin, like you have divided the group.
Yes.
Actually, people don't feel comfortable.
I did not think that was them wielding evidence. It was just like a random non sequitur. I was like, why are you showing us this? It was the last trip they went on. I don't get it.
They were trying to show
Mia
her
who said that. Mia was, or who said that Karen gets mean? I thought it was Mia who said that, and then they instantly cut. I was just like, that's not me. What the fuck?
Robin was mean that day.
But to the production, they're hoping that the viewers will see a black woman yelling and then run with it.
Although Karen wasn't yelling, she didn't even yell.
Asserting a position.
Robin yelled. That's why I was like,
yes.
Robin is the one who looks crazy in this scene. You fools. Yeah.
Okay. So tennis is pretty non-eventful. Even the main event of tennis, which is Mia saying she thinks Ashley's a gold digger. Everybody thinks that. Everybody's been thinking that since 2014. I don't know when this started, but like that's not new. I thought
not at all. What is new is Mia is newly appointed Socrates.
Because of her story.
Yeah. Go explain that.
Well, Mia discloses. Wait, because she was wearing the heels and people were clowning her, Mia said, I need to tell you all something I haven't told you before. Like she's sitting on it, talking about a non sequitur. It's like they're laughing, girl, you didn't have no flats, no sandals, nothing. She said, well, you know what? There's something I haven't told you all. And Wendy guesses, like, you had an OnlyFans? She said, no, but I was asked a lot and paid by men to put my feet on their chest in the club. Like, girl, what?
It begs the question, was Mia even gonna say that? Or in her creative fashion, did she go, good idea, Wendy. That sounds nice. And then spin a story off of that seed Wendy planted for her. A pathological liar does that. They will literally on the fly. It's like, why? Is that what you want to hear? Yes, I did do it. Like,
I'll embellish it. I'll make it. I'll do you one better instead of just OnlyFans, because that just closes the door on my ability to tell a story. Let me dress it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I also thought that the tenor of the whole conversation at tennis, you know, before we wrap this up and go to skeet shooting, in contrast to skeet shooting, it was generous. When calling Ashley a gold digger, nobody was, you know, shitting on her. Karen was like, I understand it's hard to get a divorce.
yeah.
Candace was like, yeah, obvious, you know, she's afraid, you know. They were just like,
actually Mia raised it, and they all regarded it as insensitive and offered like compassionate words in support of Ashley and the difficulty she seems to be having.
yeah, because that's like really happening to Ashley. That's a real story that it would be.
Yeah, but I'm on Mia's side on this one.
No, I am too, but it's like that's a real story that production could cover in a way that's not cartoonish, you know.
I feel like what Karen said was such a rich, like she said, it's as easy to marry a rich man as it is a poor man, but if you're marrying for money, you won't win. And I thought that was so moving because it's like it corroborates my experience of Karen. Like I think Karen wanted to be with somebody who could set her up, right? Like somebody with a less generous read could call that gold digging, but I think Karen believes she's worth it. So she's just like, you know, like I have a regard for myself where I want a certain kind of like a way of being taken care of. I think just in contrast to Ashley, like Ashley doesn't love herself. And so like that's why she's losing. That's why her pursuit of the sugar daddy didn't work to her advantage because she didn't believe it about herself. She just wanted it, you know, like in a way that Karen got her little, and she was married before, so we don't know what that relationship was like. But I think Karen actually believes about herself to a delusional effect. But sometimes you got to be delusional as a Black person in an anti-Black world that like, yeah, I deserve what I want. I deserve my comforts or whatever.
And also, I mean, I think that it's important you name that because a three's journey is to believe that they're worthy.
Self-worth.
Yes.
And Karen is like such a healthy space with her three-ishness. She really has a fixation. She has basically transcended her threeness. Like
you heard it here first.
It's not totally true, but it's like she's so the one, like she still does a little bit of show and tell and like lusting in relation to, like she's probably a sexual in the stacking is high up there. But she is incredibly healthy. And no, I'm glad you pointed that out, Kristen, the juxtaposition between Karen's words of wisdom and Ashley's position, because this raises also the question of Candace's thesis on the matter, which is that Ashley feels abandoned by Michael. So, not quite, Candace. She doesn't feel abandoned by Michael. She's not the one in it could not have been Michael inaugurating the divorce. He cheated on her. He cheated on her. It's Ashley who pursued the divorce. So Michael's not abandoning her, okay? Although abandonment is a useful thing to think with. I don't think, and I think Mia's a little bit wrong too, because a gold digger secures the bag. A gold digger at least spends the money. A gold digger has, as Karen notes, money as the objective in mind. Ashley didn't have that in mind. It was the security of whiteness.
Yes.
That is the thing she is afraid to lose again. Okay, because her father, she didn't grow up with him. She didn't know him. And you can see Ashley is very much somebody who feels, I missed what would have been the opportunity for transcendence, the possibility of ascension, of making it, of being somebody, of mattering, that I would have been able to purchase with a white father. I would have been able to identify as white with my white daddy around, but instead I have my mama, my Black mama. And my Black mama
Take
was
me down.
variously struggling So if I'm not with Michael anymore, what if I can't get a white man again to authorize me?
And
to
I'm
legitimate
blackened.
me?
I'm blackened by being a single mama with these 2 kids. If I divorce Michael, I'm too black. Like
I'm
just
my
like.
mother again.
Mhm.
And that's the thing. She doesn't, never from start to finish, all 8 seasons, she has never lived like you would imagine a gold digger to live. But you see her try and live like a white woman.
Exactly. Oh, that's so key, right? Because we talked about that in an episode that never hit the airwaves about
That's right.
her homecoming party. Like, the house is not impressive. First of all, if it's too expensive for her means, it's like it don't look like it. I don't know why you couldn't have reproduced this very same bland seaside by the shore, like whatever aesthetic, in a home that was a bit smaller. It wouldn't have made a damn bit of difference because that house is not impressive. Literally, not in stature, not in
It doesn't look
decor.
like a $13,000 a month mortgage. That's what she said on the reunion. I said, $13,000 a month. That's what she said the mortgage payment was.
Please.
I'm
And it's
not
like,
going to
are there-
dox her, but I've located the house. I have located the house. And she is correct about that.
Is it?
But that's a tough neighborhood.
Must be the
Yeah.
location.
You
Okay.
check the sale price.
Yeah.
There's probably like 5 bedrooms, and she doesn't need that many. She
Mhm.
doesn't need that many, and I bet you they're not finished being decorated.
Well, no, we saw them. You remember she gave them a tour at Seaside in the City, and
We saw the ones that she had very sparsely decorated, and there are probably some that are totally empty still.
Looks like a college condo situation, like
Yeah,
off campus.
yeah. She literally. Anyway, it's like the point is that she didn't try to secure what would look like the picture of wealth in Potomac, Maryland. Like, she didn't try to secure something like Karen's Great Falls home. Okay,
Yeah.
she got what was the aesthetics of whiteness.
Yes.
Because that's what she need. Like, okay, at least a house, right? And you can see a house is like a precious part of this kind of fantasy, this fantasy, fixation, fear, whatever, this
counterpoint to coming home from 2nd grade with her grandmother, where the stuff in their little apartment was on the curb.
Exactly. Well, we figured out Ashley.
Now she can leave.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh, what a great gift to her we've given.
On the eve of her departure, Ashley,
Yes.
watch this if you didn't know. And then we'll send you some literature about being a 7 or a 4, because you could still be a 4. And then you'll really get it.
Yes. All right. Meanwhile, tennis was so generous with Ashley. Skeet shooting is the opposite. All right. Skeet shooting, people are hurting each other with words. And meanwhile, everyone's flinching. Shots just bah, 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 in the back.
Can we talk briefly about Nneka's self-announcement to the skeet shooter instructor?
I love that.
Oh my God.
I'm really clumsy and uncoordinated, and I really don't trust myself with this gun. It's like, girl, that might be just like your...
No, she said I shouldn't be trusted with a gun. And I was like, yeah, no, I say yeah that she shouldn't be trusted with a gun.
I also believe she doesn't trust herself as a teacher of her.
It was annoying.
It was pathetic.
Yes. Very, very.
While she's shooting, okay, Kiarna, Gizelle, and Ashley are talking in the shade. And Robin. And Gizelle and Robin are inquiring, like, okay, Robin asks, they're trying to figure out, okay, what do you know about us already through Wendy? What's been circulating? And Kiarna goes, actually, no, like, you can tell there was shade there. Y'all weren't, but she didn't say she dislikes you. She didn't, like, Wendy was a good person about this.
Although I'm not sure why not debriefing her is being a good
That's what I was going to say. Wendy would have been in her right to be like, yo, I'm being crucified.
Wendy's
Gizelle would have. Yeah.
Just like we saw Wendy narrate a friendship where it never existed before. It's like she probably didn't say nothing to Kiarna because she believes that she and Gizelle could still one day be friends.
She's protecting Gizelle. Gizelle.
Yep.
And then we get, again, curtailed by production. We see that they started a conversation about shrines and the cultural significance of, their cut. So we can only assume.
Who knows? And they pivot to a something Kiarna says that if it was me and I got the apology, that's not what she was saying about cultural significance. And we
Right.
know it, and you're not slick production once again.
Right.
But by
So
this point, Nneka has returned from her clumsy and uncoordinated skeet shooting to jump in and be like, you think Wendy needs an apology, but have you told her to apologize to me? You see how she talks
Wendy's
fast?
offended. I'm offended. And then Gizelle goes, yeah, she's offended.
Nneka's also, you know, like it didn't even occur to me till just now, like the way she over talks herself and talks so quickly in order to like get in her piece, but it's a piece that she hasn't thought about. Like, it's just like, girl, you seem so desperate. Like,
That is a key strategy of the two.
oh, it's just to like quickly fast talk.
Anxiously over talk and crowd out other people, especially when they're anxious. They're gonna diarrhea of the mouth, crowd out other people's voices.
Oh, it's so, I don't know. That feels so triggering to me. It's like, girl, you're not even processing what's being said, so you can't respond. You're responding too quickly.
I could not be in a room with Nneka. I like, no. So Nneka is crowding out Kiarna's voice at this point. Nneka feels threatened by Kiarna's presence. Okay. And Kiarna, though she comes off all, sunshine and roses, she's not going to be played. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So when Nneka steps to her, Kiarna's like, no. I think Nneka really misread and that situation.
And why did she? Because she's taller? Like, what would make her think that she stood a chance? It's like, you're giving Valley Girl, okay? Like, Valley Girl's never winning the fight.
You know what I think? I think like maybe this is production's cutting, so maybe this is not true, but it seemed to me that like the position of the scene is like Robin and Gizelle sitting down on the bench. Kiarna standing up, they're asking her questions about, oh, how's the trip been? Oh, did Wendy say stuff to you about us? And then I think Nneka rejoins them and sees the light skins, her gods, interrogating Kiarna and saying like, they must be going at her. Let me take my place. But did you tell Wendy to say sorry to me? Like, I think she read them to be like cutting Kiarna down instead of just having a delay, like their questions, Robin's in particular, had an ulterior motive of like, oh, what do you know? What have they been? But like, ostensibly, they're just asking her like a polite kind of set of questions. And Nneka thought she was rejoining an assailing situation.
The panel of judges. I appreciate you reading that power dynamic in there. And if we want to extend it a little bit further, I'm going to be stoned for this. I think that is what was happening. I do think, and the reason why I'm going to be stoned for this is because I think everybody was playing their role in that regard. I think Gizelle said, yeah, what's up? And then I think Kiarna was like, well, thank you for having me. Like, maybe that's polite, but she didn't need to do it in that moment. And I'm having a time. Like, it was very much like oh, yes, I am grateful for the invitation, in like a sweet baby voice that, it was a little annoying to me because I was like, you don't have to do this. You like, they did isolate her with them, right? It's only Kiarna who's there with them, so it's almost like a den of wolves. So I think if people are saying she bucked up when Nneka kind of came at her unequivocally, right? Like there was no mystification at all. She straight up came for her. But Gizelle and Robin were doing more of a mystified, hey, newbie, jump. And I think Kiarna obliged, to be honest. I think she obliged.
And she's been obliging all trip. Which is what would make
people of the internet are reading it very differently because they need Kiarna to be the savior. But I say, be careful.
I see where you could read Kiarna kindly, but you couldn't not. She's been very openly obliging.
I was reading her body language in that scene as a kind of like, I kind of maybe feel like y'all are testing. I don't want to capitulate too much. But, Gizelle, you were nice to me. It kind of felt like she was like, what? Because she was kind of mobile, like,
she clearly wants everyone to like her. And so Nneka, of course, is, reading that as well. And it's like, but Kiarna sees that Nneka, you're the one that literally no one here likes. So for me,
nobody here actually respects you. And I will say, in Kiarna's defense, like, maybe we all would have done that, because
Yeah.
maybe it's instead of Kiarna being a bottom feeding two like Nneka, she's a two, and this is kind of the disposition of the two either
Yeah.
way. But maybe we all would have responded that way because you kind of step into the dynamic where these more established people of the show are sitting here asking you a question, and somehow that just hails you as the one who has to answer, and you're like, I
Yeah.
guess I was invited to, and I haven't said thank you yet, and it's been weighing on me. Maybe this is a good time.
Yes. I'm inclined to give Kiarna a generous reading.
Yeah.
Like, I see,
Okay.
she's not moving how I would have hoped, but I don't, it's hard to be in the situation she was in.
And
Yes.
in that scene, the bottom of the bottomest goes to Nneka for just like,
Yeah.
girl, you can't read, obviously. Like, if Nneka's in if Kiarna is in a compromised position whereby she has to figure out how to move and is trying to kind of like make some sound decisions with how she engages them, Nneka, you just always go straight to, what are my light-skinned moms saying to do?
Give it away. Give it exactly. Debase yourself in the first instance.
I'm saying this and then we're moving on to the next scene, but I would want to interview people who went to middle school with Nneka. Okay.
Go find them.
Yes.
That's gonna be in our postseason lineup.
Yes. Come forward, those of you who have something to say, please. Leave your info in the comments.
Yes. Last but not least, okay, they come together after their various activities to the dinner. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
At the dinner, people were really good this episode about bringing their side conversations to the group.
Yep.
It was almost Atlanta reminiscent. Okay.
That's right.
And Wendy brings up, at tennis, we were speaking about your situation, Ashley. And, Mia said you were a gold digger. Ashley is triggered, capital T triggered. Why? We already said everybody's regarded her that way the whole time.
Yep.
I'm asking you to.
Yeah, I too do not know why she was triggered, because for me, I don't know, or like, even if you haven't ever been admitting that you are the gold digger, like, is it that offensive of a discourse at this point, given the optics of your relationship with Michael? That man is like 70 years old.
The literal optics of you being a young Black woman with this old, just openly crusty, just white man.
Apparently who's a multimillionaire, and you don't have a job.
You met bartending for him.
Yeah.
And he's ugly. He's predatory. It's giving gold digger, sugar baby. I mean,
if his children from his first marriage are 3 years younger than you, which is the case, of course you would be regarded as a gold digger.
Yep. I just was watching the beginning of season 6, the episode where Wendy hosts the nude interlude to show off her new boob job and butt lift or whatever. And when Mia comes and says like, yeah, my husband is 38 years older than me, even though she got the math wrong, the first thing Ashley says is, wow, I don't get many people who have me beat. Wow. And the first time she says it, it kind of gets talked over. So she goes back and says like, not many people beat me. Not many people get it bit. Like, nobody beats me. My husband is old. It's like, girl. So that's like a badge of honor to you.
Yes,
Or
as it would be.
An identity,
Yeah, and again, as to draw on our earlier discovery about Ashley's real motives, because they ain't gold digging, it's like, that's like my dad, right? The age difference is that of a generation, of a parent and a child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anyway,
maybe that's why Ashley was stuck at that moment. Like, she's confronted with the fact that Mia has said it about her. Mia is a kind of like self-deprecating figure who, like, going at her is going to be hard to make it sick, because Mia will like cut off her own whatever finger to spite her hand if it will protect her, like let her move around. And maybe Ashley like intuits that there is something that is not gold digging that she's motivated by to be with Michael, but she doesn't either know that it's quite the like whiteness attachment that
she might know. She might know, which is why she was so defensively ready to counter that story. Like, I mean, she might be calling it love, and it's like, okay, girl, but she knows the contours of the love, right? And I also think that's why she got so nervous about the Vernon Davis thing, because it's just like Vernon is the opposite of Michael, right? Like, he's a respectable Black man who is fine and like has stature, and it's like. It's probably creating this like intense dissonance for her, right? Because it's like she might have a crush on him, and it's like, but I can't. That like I should.
Daddy.
It's like, yeah, emotional incest situation. Like, I can't cheat on father.
Okay,
I
that
can't embrace Blackness. I can't get.
If I
Oh,
turn that way, that's a downward spiral. And I also think that's why, like, when Mia goes, I might have married Gordon for his money, instead of being like, girl, you need to stop. Okay, well, I didn't, right? Like, she could have responded like that. Well, okay, Mia. Well, everybody's not like you. Like, instead of responding calmly and being disarmed by that frank admission, which who wouldn't be, she's still squared up because Mia is the Black version for her, right? Like Mia's life is blackened for Ashley, right? That's why Ashley, I mean, that's why Mia dug for pyrite. Pyrite. Because she's with the Black man.
Not only is she, but I never thought until right now how similar their narratives, even before meeting husband, are. You know, these 2 7 women that hate their mother, that feel like I had to go through.
Ashley does not publicly hate her mother.
Okay,
and I don't think she hates her mother. I think she's just ashamed of her. I think she loves her very much, actually, but she's ashamed of her.
Okay, yeah, all right, fine line, yeah.
Yeah,
that's actually very compelling. It's true. It's like Mia is Ashley in Black, like with a full embrace of Blackness, you know, which is not to say Mia doesn't do anti-Black things or something, but it's not like her governing decision is to run.
I mean, Mia would not regard that as the way that she is being, you know, seen by Ashley, because I think Mia is actually also running from Blackness, but like it's a different tone of it. It's a blacker tone. It's a blacker tone than whatever Ashley's up to.
I think running from Blackness like a Black woman would run.
Whereas, exactly. Because Ashley's running like a mixed chick runs. Yeah. I think that's right. And it's really like about Mia finding, you know, a life with a Black man, and like them building a you know, Black love circumstance, and blah, 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 blah. That's why it's like she has to assail. Your man doesn't even have the money now. He's broke because he's Black, and he was never gonna like. Like I was offended, like a Klansman had come on the scene and taken their, because this like fool's gold. You found pyrite. Like this is after the fact, and she's still going this hard.
Yes.
No, and that I thought the confessional Ashley was way more telling than Ashley in the moment was very defensive, but like seemed like, okay, I'm grasping, I'm reaching, I don't know what to respond. But then it's like I thought about it and I choose to
violence.
And it's like it's important what Mia goes on to say. We didn't capture. She's just like who I can't remember. Kiarna says like, well, you know, I guess Mia couldn't be gold digging because she said that Gordon was broke, whatever. But Mia just says like, okay, Ashley, I just think you shouldn't be lying to yourself. I don't think you should lie to yourself. And it's like, what could Ashley say to that? That's her prime business.
Wait, also, you brought up the Kiarna saying, well, she just said yesterday, here Kiarna is taking everyone at face value. Somebody interjected before Mia to say, that's not true.
Yes.
That wasn't true.
Funny, like,
not true. She be lying.
Because Karen was like, "Oh no!" Everybody said, "No, girl, no."
Don't listen to anything.
We're gonna rehash that. That's something we are on the same page.
Yeah, like you didn't realize that. Duh. Have you learned nothing?
Mia be lying, and that's just who she is.
Mia be lying. That's right. No, it's actually true. And what were y'all saying about the? Yeah, just like Ashley continuing to choose violence and then being like crazy that she has to get up multiple times when Vernon is invoked. And I just feel like she thinks Mia is like the trash version of her. Okay, but this is why. You reminding us that Mia's generous offering. You need to stop lying to yourself. I guess she might as well say. Now, like, what is going on though with Ashley as a 7 if she's lying to herself? Because 7s don't do too much of that. Except in the like reframe version of lying, I guess. Like everything is good. Everything is great.
Well,
I think I think Ashley's reframe lying.
Okay.
is the
That's how-
lie about the divorce? Like the motivations for her? Because if Ashley initiated the divorce and now is stalling, is she lying to herself about wanting
what she's afraid of? Because if she could confront that, she could get the divorce. Because she could, like, first of all, it's not even that reasonable a thing to be afraid of. That's how you know it's a fear that she has not reckoned with consciously.
Call on me. I'll speak. I have recently been doing a lot of research on 7s, actually, and and their innermost fear, is pain, but also deprivation.
Yep.
And
really?
I think that the way she's been going about this divorce, she is, maybe a gold digger, not really, as we've said, but like a failed gold digger. Like she is realizing, wait, this is all Ash. Like if I step off this ledge, like what's on the other end? I think 7s usually have something lined up before they leave a situation.
And at no point has she ever had any. That's the part that's like, are you a 7? She does not make plans. She does not make. She doesn't have like. She doesn't seem to. She might have the anxiety about her well-being, but she doesn't make plans. Which is what a 7 is supposed to do.
No, but the 7, I have one 7 very close in my life. This person is always just happens to be stumbling into another better situation. Like they're not actively making plans, but also never really present in their current thing. Always stumbling to better. I've seen 7 too fall up. I think Ashley is used to falling upwards, or you know what I'm saying?
Well, maybe Michael is like the grounds of her plans. Because maybe like, she would narrate like, oh, me and Michael like to travel. We're going to Bhutan for my birthday. And maybe like the restaurant was a plan. And maybe no, the kids were a plan and the house was a plan. And like Michael underwrites all those plans. So maybe she can't quite conceive.
Yep. Because maybe her plans are circumscribed by a kind of normative picture of what life is like, right? So it's like the final plan was like spend the rest of my life with somebody who could provide security for me. And now she's going to have to be a divorcee. And it's like, that's not the normative picture of happiness. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, no, I was supposed to be like, engage in this project, engage in that project, settling into my life of forever with someone so that I wouldn't have to be making plans, clamoring, looking for opportunities. Like maybe she's exhausted by the pursuit of those things because it was supposed to have panned out already.
Yeah, yes. And I think whenever somebody comes along who's actually willing to take her and her sons on, she will get a divorce, within the month.
Needs to find her and Andrew like Katie found.
She's looking for an Andrew.
Andrew did not want Katie for real.
I think he ended the season by proposing because like at Andy's behest or something.
Literally, because then the next day he was like, I don't know, we have to get married.
Rewatch though, even though he definitely still, did not want Katie. I was surprised like how much he had taken on with the children. I was like, what is going on here?
What is Katie's Indian type? Okay, maybe we need to end.
Katie's a 4.
I'm gonna think about that off screen. Thank you all so much for watching.
Oh my God, that's it.
Can we emphasize Karen's very earnest shock and appall at Ashley's financial situation when she said, "Well, we do."
Toasted to that.
Yes.
She said, "Ash, that's all."
That was sisterhood. I hope when I am in the gutter, you two will,
Katherine, that's it? You just getting a small allowance?
Just the kids? You don't get
Yes, yes, and you're gonna go scurry off and talk to your yo, Katherine is not well, you know.
We have actually brought it full circle, because if it wasn't clear, the reason for Kristen's toast is that what Ashley is apparently getting as a part of this divorce settlement is funds for Uber Eats and nothing more.
Which
So
probably shakes out to like what, $300 a month?
I would say about $30 a day, because the boys, she'll just microwave them some Kraft mac and cheese.
Yeah, that's right.
So her meals are probably $30 a day, and then times that by 30. Okay, $900 a month.
I would love to see where she's ordering.
And gas and a gas card, as you told us.
She's
And a
probably
gas-
ordering Sweet Green. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Probably.
Shut up, because you know I had sweet green for lunch today.
I was gonna say, as someone who had some this week, she don't have no chicken in it. I'm sure hers is meat.
She don't have no chicken, but I bet there's no chicken in it.
Okay, well, you can do Sweet Green every once in a while, okay? But you can't be doing it like I'm imagining her. All right.
Oh, somebody's getting
It's
a little hot over there.
Every day for lunch, okay?
Well, you should have kept that to yourself. Okay.
Okay, I want, please, more comments about what y'all are looking forward to for the reunion, since more episodes will have aired since Andy asked us questions. Like, what do we need answers to that may not get answered?
And what is with this preview of Charisse hitting these tables? What's going
That's
on?
what I want to know. I want to know, because that was the realest relationship ever shown on the show, was the one between Charisse and Robin.
And Iyanla? Oh.
No, Charisse and Robin, the realest, like, friend, like that was a real friendship before this.
Yeah, but they weren't close.
But I want to know, yeah, they weren't. So what's leading her to smack the tables at Robin, you know?
Oh, that's Robin who's talking. Okay, well, stay tuned, because we're going to process it.
Yes, we will. We'll see y'all later.
Bye.